Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Brain.
And I'm Anna, your co-host. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Today's episode is something a little different, but super important. We're talking about how to keep your brain young. Whether you're 20, 40, or 60, your brain needs regular care and exercise just like your body.
Exactly. And if you're learning English, this is especially important. A younger, sharper brain learns faster, remembers better, and speaks more fluently. So the better your brain works, the faster your English will improve.
In this episode, we'll share simple daily habits that boost your brain power, fun English activities that keep your mind sharp, and things you should avoid if you want to stay mentally young and focused.
Plus, I'll share my own personal routine to keep my brain active, yes, including what I do with English every single day.
So grab your notebook, or just relax and listen in. By the end of this episode, you'll have practical tools to train your brain, speak better English, and feel more mentally alive.
Let's dive in and discover how to keep your brain young and full of energy no matter your age.
So Anna, before we jump into the tips, let's talk about the big question, why does brain health matter so much, especially for English learners?
That's such a good starting point, Brain. Most people think that learning a language is just about memorizing words or grammar rules, but actually, it's all about the brain. If your brain is tired, stressed, or slow, learning becomes 10 times harder.
Absolutely. And here's something interesting. Scientists say that the brain can keep growing and changing even as we age. It's called neuroplasticity. That means your brain can literally rewire itself if you give it the right challenges, like learning English.
Yes, and let's be honest, many people feel like their mind is slowing down. Maybe they forget words, lose focus, or feel mentally tired. That doesn't mean you're getting old. It usually means your brain needs better care just like your body does.
Exactly. Think of it like a muscle. If you don't use your muscles, they get weak. If you don't use your brain, especially in a challenging and creative way, it gets lazy. And in today's world full of distractions and screens, it's even harder to keep the brain active.
I agree. And here's where English learning becomes your secret weapon. Every time you speak in English, listen carefully, or try to form a sentence. You're exercising your brain. You're building memory, focus, and mental flexibility.
Yes, and that's why this episode isn't just about health. It's about learning smarter. If you care for your brain, your English improves naturally because a strong brain is more open, curious, and ready to learn.
So, whether you're learning English for a job, travel, or personal growth, remember this: your brain is your best tool. Take care of it, and it will take care of your English.
Beautifully said, Anna. Now let's look at some signs that your brain might be aging faster than it should, and how to catch them early.
Okay, Brain. So now that we know why brain health matters, let's talk about the warning signs. What should people look out for if their brain is slowing down?
Great question. It doesn't always start with something dramatic. In fact, it's often small things like you walk into a room and forget why you went there. Or you read a sentence in English, and then have to read it again.
Ha ha ha, I've been there. Or when you're talking and suddenly a word disappears from your mind like poof, gone. Especially when speaking in English, that can be so frustrating.
Exactly. That's a common one-word finding difficulty. Another sign is losing focus quickly. If you start reading or listening to something, and your mind drifts after a few minutes, that's your brain saying, "Hey, I'm tired."
Right, and people often blame themselves. They say, oh, I'm just not smart enough or I'm too old to learn English. But it's not about age. It's about how active your brain is.
So true. Here are a few quick signs your brain might need a little more attention. 1. You forget names or common words more often. 2. You feel mentally foggy or slow. 3. You get tired quickly during conversations or reading. 4. You avoid challenges or learning new things because it feels too hard.
And let's be honest, it's easy to ignore these signs. But if we recognize them early, we can fix them with simple habits and changes.
That's the good news. The brain is not broken, it's just out of shape. And just like you can get your body back into shape, you can do the same with your mind.
Exactly. So don't feel discouraged if you've noticed these things. Today's episode is all about helping you rebuild and refresh your brain, and that starts with the next part.
Yes, let's explore the top habits that actually help keep your brain young, sharp, and ready to learn English like a pro. All right, we've talked about the signs of an aging brain, now let's flip the script. What can we do to actually keep the brain young?
Yes, this is where it gets exciting, because the habits that keep your brain young are simple but powerful, and anyone can do them, no matter their age or background.
Absolutely. Let's start with the first and most underrated one, sleep. People think it's just rest, but actually, sleep is when your brain organizes information, clears out toxins, and strengthens memory.
Totally agree. If you're learning English, sleep is your best friend. You may study during the day, but your brain really processes that English while you sleep. So 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, that's brain fuel.
The second habit is movement. You don't have to be a gym lover, just walking, dancing, or even stretching gets the blood flowing to your brain.
That's right. I often go for a short walk and listen to English podcasts. Double benefit, my brain gets oxygen and English input at the same time.
Smart multitasking? Okay. Number 3, eating brain-friendly foods. Think of foods like nuts, berries, eggs, green veggies, and fish. These give your brain the vitamins and fats it needs to function well.
And don't forget about water. Even being slightly dehydrated can affect memory and focus. Drink water before your study session, it helps.
Great tip. Habit number 4, learning something new every day. This could be a new English word, a phrase, or even a tongue twister. Learning new things literally keeps the brain young and flexible.
Yes, I love trying new expressions. Like recently, I learned the phrase, "It's not rocket science." It just makes English fun and keeps my mind curious.
That's the key, curiosity. If your brain stays curious, it stays young. And speaking of curiosity, habit number 5 is challenge your brain. Do things that make you think. Puzzles, brain games, or even learning to use a new app in English.
Exactly. I sometimes write short stories in English or describe my day aloud. It's creative, and it stretches my thinking.
Another amazing habit is talking to people. Real conversations, even short ones, stimulate the brain, boost memory, and improve emotional balance.
Yes, and it doesn't even have to be with native speakers. Talking with friends, language partners, or even recording yourself is a great brain workout.
One more. How about staying positive? This one surprises people, but studies show that a positive attitude actually helps the brain stay healthier longer. Negative thinking shrinks the brain. Positive thinking grows it.
That's so true. So celebrate your small wins. You learned 5 new English words today? Amazing. You understood a new sentence in a movie? Celebrate it.
So let's summarize quickly. Here are the top habits to keep your brain young. 1. Get quality sleep. 2. Move your body. 3. Eat brain-friendly foods and stay hydrated. 4. Learn something new daily. 5. Challenge your mind with games or creativity. 6. Talk to people and have real conversations. 7. Stay positive and celebrate progress.
Even if you start with just one or two, you'll feel a difference in your brain energy and in your English learning, too.
Coming up next, let's talk about brain-boosting English activities. Fun things you can do daily to train your brain and improve your fluency. Now that we've talked about daily habits for brain health, let's focus on something even more exciting: English activities that actually train your brain.
Yes, these are my favorite. A lot of people think language learning is just study, 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 but the truth is, the right kind of English practice can boost your brain while helping you speak better.
Exactly. So let's share a few brain-boosting English activities that anyone can do even from home. I'll start with one that I love: reading out loud. When you read out loud, you're training your brain in multiple ways: speaking, pronunciation, memory, and listening.
Yes, and if you read with emotion, it's even better. Your brain connects more deeply to the words when you add feeling or act out the sentence.
Totally. Another great one is something called shadowing. You play a short English sentence, then repeat it immediately, trying to copy the rhythm, tone, and speed. It's like echoing.
I love that. Shadowing makes your brain work fast because you're listening, processing, and speaking at the same time. It also helps you sound more natural.
Here's another fun one: vocabulary games. You can use apps, flashcards, or even make your own little quiz. The key is to make it fun and fast so your brain stays alert.
And you can do it with friends. Turn it into a challenge. How many animal words can we name in 30 seconds? That playful pressure actually trains your memory.
Exactly. Another simple activity is watching English shows or YouTube videos with subtitles. But here's the trick: pause after each line and repeat it. This makes your brain process and produce English in real time.
And one of my personal favorites, talking to yourself in English. It might sound strange, but it's powerful. Describe what you're doing. I'm making tea. Now I'm sitting down. The sun is shining. It keeps your brain in English mode.
I do that too, especially while walking or cooking. Your brain doesn't care who's listening, it just wants to practice.
Exactly. And if you record yourself and listen back, you'll notice small improvements. It's like giving your brain a mirror.
So here's a quick list of brain-boosting English activities. 1. Reading out loud with emotion. 2. Shadowing native speakers. 3. Playing vocabulary games or flashcard quizzes. 4. Watching shows with repetition, practice. 5. Talking to yourself in English. 6. Recording your voice and reviewing it.
These activities don't feel like study. They feel like play, and that's when your brain learns best.
Coming up next, we'll look at what to avoid if you want to keep your brain young and sharp.
Yes, because just as there are habits that help, there are some that can hurt your brain without you even realizing it.
All right? So we've covered the habits and activities that keep your brain young, but now let's flip it again. Anna, what are some things we should avoid if we want to protect our brain power?
Oh yes, there are definitely some silent brain killers, and many people do them every day without thinking. The first one? Too much screen time, especially mindless scrolling.
Yes, endless scrolling on social media may feel relaxing, but it actually tires out the brain. You're not focused, not learning, and your attention span gets weaker.
Exactly. It's like mental junk food tastes good but doesn't help you grow. Another big one is multitasking. We think we're being productive, but the brain can't fully focus on more than one thing at a time.
Totally. Switching between your phone, your study, and your TV confuses the brain. You lose depth of thought. So when you're learning English, focus only on that single tasking is the new superpower.
Love that. Another one is negative self-talk. Telling yourself I'm too old or I'll never speak fluently actually slows down your brain. It increases stress, and stress literally shrinks the learning part of your brain.
That's scary, but true. So we need to be kind to ourselves. Say things like, I'm learning, or I'm getting better every day. It keeps the brain calm and ready to grow.
And one more lack of rest. If you never give your brain time to relax, it stays in survival mode. That means poor memory, slow reaction time, and low energy.
So true. Your brain needs quiet time, even just 10 minutes a day without noise or distraction. Let it breathe.
Let's sum it up. If you want to keep your brain young, avoid 1. Too much screen time. 2. Multitasking. 3. Negative self-talk. 4. Lack of rest or quiet time.
Coming up, Anna's going to share her own personal routine, what she does daily to keep her brain active and her English sharp.
Yes, I'll walk you through my simple brain care day. Nothing fancy, but it works.
All right, Anna, this is the part I've been waiting for. Tell us, what does a day in your life look like when you're training your brain?
Ha ha ha. Well, it's not super fancy, but it works for me. I try to include a little brain care throughout the day, so let me walk you through it.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so first thing in the morning, before checking my phone, I drink a glass of water and go for a short 10-minute walk just to get my body and brain moving. Sometimes I listen to a short English podcast while walking.
Nice! You're waking up your brain and learning at the same time.
Exactly. Then I come home and do a quick brain warm-up. I usually read a short English article out loud or even just a paragraph. It helps with focus and pronunciation.
So smart. That's both a brain and language workout.
Later in the day, I take a brain break. I do a simple puzzle, or sometimes I play a quick vocabulary game in English like guessing words from pictures or matching opposites.
I love that you call it a brain break. It's like exercise, but fun.
Yes! Then in the evening, I usually watch part of a show or YouTube video in English. But I don't just watch, I pause after sentences and shadow the speaker. Just a few minutes, but it really helps.
That's such a powerful routine. Simple, short habits, but done daily.
That's the key. You don't need to study for hours. You just need to touch English often and keep your brain active with variety. And honestly, I feel more focused, less forgetful, and more confident speaking.
That's inspiring, Anna. And it shows that anyone can do this, even with a busy schedule.
Exactly. The secret is consistency, not perfection.
All right, let's keep going. Up next, a little motivation to remind you that your brain is stronger than you think. Okay, before we wrap things up, let's take a moment to remind you of something really important. Your brain is like a muscle.
Yes, that means the more you use it, challenge it, and care for it, the stronger it gets. Just like training at the gym, small daily actions lead to big, long-term results.
And here's the beautiful part. You're never too old to grow. Science shows that your brain can form new connections at any age. That means every time you learn a new English word or practice a sentence, you're literally changing your brain.
Exactly, so don't say I can't. Instead, say I'm training. You're not failing, you're improving. Slowly, steadily, powerfully.
So if you've been feeling slow, stuck, or forgetful, don't give up. Your brain just needs a little love and a little challenge. It's never too late to refresh your mind and upgrade your life.
And remember, learning English isn't just about speaking a language. It's about keeping your brain alive, creative, and young.
So keep going. You're doing better than you think. You've already taken the first step just by listening to this episode.
We're proud of you. Now let's quickly review what you've learned today and how to take action.
All right, let's do a quick recap of everything we talked about today on how to keep your brain young, especially while learning English.
First, we learned that brain health matters. A healthy brain helps you focus better, remember more, and speak English more confidently.
Then we looked at some warning signs like forgetfulness, mental fog, and lack of focus. But the good news? You can fix those with the right habits.
We shared 7 simple brain-boosting habits: sleep, movement, healthy food, curiosity, challenges, conversation, and staying positive.
Plus, we gave you some powerful English activities that train your brain like reading out loud, shadowing, and speaking to yourself.
And we also warned about what to avoid: too much screen time, multitasking, negative thinking, and lack of rest.
Now, here's your action step. Choose just one brain-healthy habit from today's episode and do it today. Just one. That's all you need to start.
And if you can, combine it with English, like going for a walk while listening to this podcast again. Easy and powerful.
Small steps, big changes. That's how you keep your brain young and your English strong. Thank you so much for joining us today on the English Learning Podcast. We hope you feel inspired to take care of your brain and boost your English at the same time.
Remember, every small habit counts. Keep practicing, keep growing, and keep your brain young.
Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll talk about a super important topic: why we forget words while speaking and how to fix it.
It's going to be full of helpful tips and real-life stories you won't want to miss.
See you next time.